Your mallet.
Welcome everyone. We have a full schedule today. Let's start by standing up and looking at Steve. Where's Steve? Steve.
Hey Steve, you're up, bud. Getting something out of the cabinet right now.
Okay, well, we can talk about it behind his back. These are pictures from the kinetic sculpture race. And Steve, I hear rumored, was the winner. He's the grand champion. No, in our midst. All right.
Here's my wife over there, Patty.
All right. Now we're going to let you guys talk about it later, so don't worry about that. Okay, but this is the team. One more round of applause for the winning team.
Okay.
All right, thank you guys. Maybe. Okay, so Barbara, you're standing right here at the front. Would you use the flag, please?
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. And now welcome for our guests and visitors. We'll go table by table. Emmanuel?
This is Doug Holsey, and he's visiting from Petaluma. As soon as he a Rotarian at the Petaluma. All right, visitors.
This is Teresa Elway, and she is a visitor and student to the university.
Well, I've already quickly introduced my wife Patty, who is with us today, up early, and Mihir and Vivandi. They are from the Rotary Club of Rajkot Greater. And they're folks who we met in India and who are now part of the RFE team here. And they say that it's really nice. We are very sad to see you go. We've had a really nice time.
Wonderful. This is my son, Asher. Hello, Asher. Okay.
There'll be more of an introduction later part of our program today, God's Unday House.
Yes.
I have a guest. My wife is here, Elisa, and my son Logan is back with us for the day, and as my daughter, Bella.
All right.
President Susan and Club, I'm happy to welcome our Vocational Service Award recipient, Dennis Rael, and his family. His wife is here, and his two daughters, Kula, who we certainly know. Sorry. And Coco. Yes. So welcome. We're glad you're here.
I think that's...
Breakfast.
Okay. Welcome everyone to our first meeting in June. And Howard, if you could lead off, do you have an announcement for us?
Yeah, thanks for letting me make this announcement. My wife, her retirement career is art, and she's having an art opening. You can see there's a Piante Gallery in Eureka, and it's this Saturday from 6 to 9, but I'll give you a secret. There's going to be a flash mob tango event, which is one of her other passions right now. That will be at 7:45, so come around 7:30 and enjoy the art. I'm going to be there with also Golden Gold, so please come.
All right, thank you, Howard. And I'd like to throw in a special thanks to Dustin and Ray. They worked with you, Howard, and were able to get us certified to write a global grant, apply for a global grant next year, which really helps us be able to do what we can do in our World Services Committee. So thanks to Dustin and Ray for going through the administrative challenges of getting this taken care of for us. And then today is the big day. It's the Steve Broadhead Golf Fundraiser, and it starts at noon, and our club has 2 teams participating. The first one full was team number 1, and that's me, Mark Burchett, Emmanuel Rose, and Doug Halsey. So I'm expecting that we will put up a good show together. Yeah, I don't go that far, but that's team 1, and then team 2. I guess will be the fun team. And that's Chris Hemphill, Tomas, and you had a couple of friends, Tomas?
Well, I thought that we had another Rotarian that was going to be involved, but I don't know, we'll see. And then, yeah, a friend, Brian's colleague, Rael, said he'd be in the neck with many of you know.
Oh, good. And Brian, you want to play? That looks like he doesn't have.
I tried to get him first, but
No, he won't.
he's good. He's
All
got
right.
the yips.
Okay, so stay tuned. We'll let you know how we do, but our club is well represented, so we'll make sure to make a big scene. All right, and then the next thing I wanted to do was thank you. And what I wanted to thank you all for was those of you who have been here for the exercise days. You've been extremely enthusiastic and supportive of the event. So I thought today we could just kind of start June with a little exercising. So if you'd all stand up for just a second, Terry's looking at me. Here it's not quite over, damn it. Okay, are we ready?
Oh, it's finished.
Here we go, feet apart. And you're just going to lower toward your chair. We remember this one? We're hovering. Now, believe it or not, this is good for you. Okay, are you ready? We're just going to pulse here, just pulse. Nice and easy. Good for you. Standing up and sitting down again. Up and sitting down. Up and sitting down. We don't have to do it all together. It's a very practical exercise. Okay, Bob. I think he's 6 years old today. So what else is new, right, Bob? Okay, hold it low. Okay, balance your weight on your left foot and see if you can lift up the right one. This is our test. We've been working on this all year. Okay, change other side. What? Yeah. Okay, ready? Pulse in here. Just pulse. Good. Now see if you can reach your arms up in the air. Just reach them up and put them to your knees. Up and put them to your knees. Believe it or not, this is called exercising. Right here. That's all you have to do. People say they can't exercise. We all have time for this, yes? Okay. 2 more and you're done.
Everybody in applause is confused.
Okay. That's good. Thank you. Woo. Touch the mom, yeah. Exercise 1. Oh, that's your 2. And you feel how your heart rate's up a little? You kind of breathe. Okay. We're breathing.
Dropped your pen.
Making sure. Okay. Thank you to the Sergeant at Arms room. You know, every morning I come in and Janice and Craig are here. They open up, they put everything around. They make my job so easy. All I've got to do is plug this thing in. That takes a focus. So I've got the support for everything else. And so I would like the Sergeant at Arms group to just stand up here in the room. Yes!
Janice always misses a third of the
meeting because she's doing the books and keeping track of this.
Yeah.
And she almost never gets breakfast, so it's always cleaned out by the time she gets here.
Oh, we should give her. So they're doing a tremendous job, and I wanted to recognize them. And then also to their committees. The membership and mentoring committee has brought in at least 9 new members so far this year. The program committee programs have been spectacular. The fellowship committee, fantastic charter night. And then the PR committee, and especially Dick for the work that he does. Every meeting, look at the setup. I mean, that's amazing that we get all this tracking. So let's give a big hand for our club. And all led by Terry. It's her avenue, so thank you very much, Terry, for what you do. And there's more about Terry, of course. All right, on to more thank yous. Thank you to all the past presidents who have helped me, subbed for me. I even got Bob up here. Yeah. It's been fantastic to know that I can be president, and when I have to be out of town, I've got some really good people here to back me up. So thank you all for what you've done on that. Also, thanks to the board. Board meetings, they get so much done. It's not just a yes board. This board has some opinions, and they know a lot more than I do about a lot of things. So it's been a very fantastic learning experience for me to be running that board meeting, I'll just say that. And then thanks to the district officials who we have in our club, Ian with the Youth Exchange, and Lori is a president, what is she?
Assistant governor.
Assistant governor, and she was also Rotarian of the Year. I mean, we have these people in our club. So I want the board and the district officers to please stand up. Board, come on, board. And then a special thank you to my secretary, past president, Howard. Treasurer Brian, thank you so much. Keeping everything straight and telling me I'm spending too much money on a regular basis. Committee chairs have been spectacular, getting reports in, managing their teams, organizing their meetings. And these are some of the things they've accomplished. Community service, backpacks for kids, and highway cleanup in particular has happened like clockwork. Finance committee gave away all their money to good projects in the community. Fundraisers, both fundraisers were successful, raised us good money. International service, supporting our projects all around the world. World Services and Rotary Foundation. As we know, Final Fridays, Terry has led us through that so that did we make our goal, Terry?
We're close.
We're very
People
close.
will be getting letters.
Okay, we still have a month. She's not going to quit until she gets her goal. Vocational services, including the Vocational Service Award, which we'll talk about today, our Great Pancake Breakfast, New Generations, including youth activities. Rebecca's Run, I'm calling it. It was a spectacular event. She gets it together pretty much single-handedly. AIBT, Dustin took that over and did a great job with that. RILA, Jeff will be telling us just a touch more about that. Scholarships, they even wanted more money. Rotaract, Interact, fantastic and very engaged. Youth Exchange. Just to say about Youth Exchange, I have not been the president before, and to be engaged at that level so that I hear what really goes on behind the scenes to make Youth Exchange possible is amazing. And I just wait for all of you to be president, and you'll be able to see what goes on to actually be able to bring that spectacular program to us. So it's fantastic. So committee chairs, would you please stand up and let us give you all a round of applause. Thank you very much. And lastly, thank you to all of you who come to these meetings, share your humor, your perspective, your donations to Rotary of your time, money, and ideas, as well as your energy. And thank you to Judy, who reports to us regularly. I call her up here, she doesn't know when. And she stands up and she gives us a good story of what she's been up to in English. I mean, that is amazing. So I wanted to thank all of you. So one more time, this is part of the exercise as well. Would you please stand up and everyone give everybody a round of applause. Wonderful. What a way to start June, huh? Aren't we great? Okay, so with that enthusiastic thank you, Judy is ready to come up because I'm calling her name. And there are some pictures. So thank you, Judy.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so last weekend I went to Kinetic Sculptures race and I'm super tired because we rode like 3 days. And then, yeah, and then we won the grand champion. It was really good. And then we crossed the bay, we held our bike across the Seine because we couldn't ride the bike like on the Seine, so it's really hard. And then, yeah, it's super tired, but it was really nice. And yeah, and we have like the second day at the night we went to Crab Park, and then we have like beach fire, which was really good. And there are so many people over there, like crazy. And I just did like send some pictures from my mom. I was like, wait, what? What's that? Is that like kitchen? I was like, did you say kitchen? I was like, no, it's like design. I was like, you guys are weird. Which was really good. Yeah. And then, yeah, and yesterday we went to beach fire. I think it's Trinidad, right? Yeah, Trinidad Beach. We like have a beach fire for like the guests from India, and I wear Indian styles with like the costumes. Like it was really nice. And then tomorrow is our senior prom. And I got my dress from Ross. It's like $20. Instead of more than $100, so it's really nice. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy.
Can I say something about
Please.
that? This is our second competitor in the kinetic race, and Anatea aced it, and now you guys took grand champion, so pretty good record.
Wow, all right. So look at all, there's a picture. Steve, do you want to tell us anything
Well,
about
of
what it's
course,
like?
and then Charlie has been in the race on a number of occasions.
Grand champion.
A grand
Oh.
And she was a solo ace as well.
Yeah, seventh woman ever in the history of the race to solo ace.
Yeah, so.
In our midst,
We have
right
a club
now.
that's rich in the kinetic sculpture
Rich.
race. But, you know, it is a lot of fun. It is an immense amount of work. Much credit goes to my wife for having a tolerance for me spending a lot of time in the garage. And starting, you know, this weekend on cleanup, and it's like work throughout the year to be ready for it. And I'm hoping that other people step up next year. We're going to do our best on the artwork and the engineering and the speed, which is what it takes for Grand Champion. And, you know, someone else needs to step up and do it. Otherwise, we'll take it again.
And next year is the 50th annual.
Yeah. And there'll probably be a few more entrants. If someone said, oh yeah, there'll be 100, which I don't think. But if we get a few more, that would be great.
I also want to.
You better stand up.
I want to recognize Cam because for 15 years now, he has hosted the Kinetic Lab in one of his buildings, which is huge.
They pay rent.
And that counts as exercise too, right, Judy? She's like, yeah. Okay, Dustin, you want to say anything about your firesides? At least
yeah.
your experience.
I just want to thank everyone who replied and either showed up or kind of wanted to schedule a meeting later. They were real productive, and also thank you to everyone that hosted. That was awfully generous, and we've got a lot of good feedback, and I look forward to next year and incorporating everything I heard in the meetings into our upcoming year. So thank you everyone who participated.
Great, thanks, Dustin. Jeff, can you just tell us a little tiny bit about Rael?
Well, RILA, it's the Rotary Youth Leadership Award. And basically we send 2 kids from our area down to, Westminster Woods in Occidental, California. So the way how that works is everybody within the district sends 2 kids when the camp is actually at the time when the kids are out of school. So because some years it doesn't work out. But we send the kids down and then they're down there for about a week. And so actually we're sending 2 kids down this year. They're usually from Interact. And where is Nick? Nick knows who they are. Nick here?
He's helping Janice out.
Oh, okay. So anyway, we select from Interact and there's a selection process. And from which it's not just academics, but it's also community service and everything that they do. And so that's basically RILA in a nutshell. But what we hope to do is to have the Interact kids, they're normally juniors or sophomores. We hope to have them come back after camp and give a presentation and they can tell you a bit more about it. Thank you.
Thanks for helping put that together, Jeff.
Yeah. And they're $2 $500 scholarships. That's the cost of the.
For helping pay for RILA?
Yeah, that's the price.
Great. Okay, Jessica.
Greetings, Rotarians. It is my honor to be before you today on behalf of the Vocational Services Committee. A couple of years ago, we created a Vocational Service Award with the goal of recognizing someone outside of our club and outside of the Rotary family for their contributions to our community and to the world, and for being like a Rotarian. Our recipient today is Dennis Rael from Los Bagels. He's here with us this morning with his family, as I mentioned earlier. We're going to learn a little bit more about him over the next few minutes. First, however, I want to talk about this award from a little bit bigger perspective. Often when you hear from me, I'm representing the Vocational Service Committee, and I will tell you that, or remind you that vocations are at the heart of Rotary. Our founder, Paul Harris, brought people together from various different vocations and said, if we come together in the name of service, we can accomplish a great deal. And just look at what our organization has done since it was founded so many years ago. Secondly, we can look to the object of Rotary, which is one of our sort of guiding tenets. In the second component, the object of Rotary is to encourage and foster high ethical standards and professions, the recognition of the worthiness of all useful occupations, and the dignifying of each Rotarian's occupation as an opportunity to serve society. So for this award, we turn to all of you, members of our club, to be able to nominate someone who exemplifies the ideals of our organization in their vocation, showing high ethical standards in their treatment of their customers, their employees, and their community. We received a number of nominations. Thank you so much for everyone who shared an individual for us to consider. There's some amazing people out there in our community who exemplify the ideals of our organization, and they aren't yet Rotarians. But today, we meet our newest recipient. Dennis Rael, as many of you know, owns and runs Humboldt County's own first and well-beloved bagel store. Dennis and his co-founders created fusion cuisine long before fusion cuisine became a thing with their Mexican-Jewish bakery. He served the local and global community beyond his business. And I'm not just talking about the international experience that any one of us can have by going to a Los Bagels store and seeing people wearing their Los Bagels t-shirts everywhere in the world, from the heights of Machu Picchu to the depths of diving in Phuket, Thailand. He has served on the board of the North Coast Regional Land Trust for many years. He's actively supporting the Humboldt Bay Trail project that's under construction, and he was involved in forging the Arcata-Camuapa Sister City project and relationship between Arcata and Camuapa, Nicaragua. And much closer to home, we got to know Dennis and his family a little bit better when his daughter Trula became our own personal ambassador to Italy through the Rotary Youth Exchange program in 2015-16. And she wrote so beautifully about the experiences on her blog, Trula in Italy. Ian Schatz is the Rotarian who nominated Dennis for this award. And in selecting Dennis as the recipient, the committee really appreciated Ian's comments for he spoke about Dennis providing a real service to the community in a number of ways. The Los Bagels restaurant features recipes and ideas from all different countries across the world, promoting cultural tolerance and enthusiasm through food. His staff includes people from all walks of life, from business students at HSU to Humboldt County's colorfully ringed and tattooed. The business is dependent on its employees, and Dennis also welcomes high school and college students as employees, working with their school schedules, and more importantly, helping them learn the skills of holding down a job. So Ian is with us this morning. Can you come on forward, Ian, and share us a little bit more about your inspiration for nominating Dennis for this award?
You know, part of what you know of somebody is from what you hear about them in the community. And I've had the privilege of knowing many people. Dennis doesn't know this, but since high school, Jeff's dad actually wandered down there, I think pretty close to when Los Bagels opened. And of course, we all became enthralled with the product. But what came to pass is I know several people from my youth and from my adulthood who have had their first jobs at Los Bagels. And I have now the privilege of being the employer of one of his past employees. And they're well prepared in the workplace. They've all said they feel that the family in their business treats people fairly, mentors them as workers and community members, provides opportunities for them to serve when possible. And then, of course, his family, you know, truly was an excellent ambassador, and that speaks very highly of his parents. Dennis was one of the few parents that year that basically got out of the way and let Trula do her thing, which was not what it is what I ask of the parents, but it's unusual for them to take me literally at my word that if you just let her do this, it'll be okay. And he even helped his wife through. Anyway, Dennis, you know, thank you for all your service and openness to serving the community, and just wanted to recognize you for that.
Thanks, Ian. In addition to Ian's words, I wanted to share some comments from some folks in the community who we reached out to who have worked with Dennis in various capacities. First from Dan Erisman, who's the Executive Director of the North Coast Regional Land Trust. Dennis brings such incredible energy, enthusiasm, and good to our region, both through his business ventures and his engagement in civic organizations. The work he's accomplished over the years and the support he continues to provide our community is without question worthy of recognition. From Reese Hughes, for 7 years I've been working with Dennis on a number of projects intended to make our community a better place. The projects range from working with Humboldt Live to advocating for a Humboldt Bay Trail, from supporting efforts to save ranches in our rural landscape to improving communication and awareness between HSU and local business people about issues of race. Dennis not only commits his time, but puts his money where his mouth is. If Dennis says he'll do something, he does it. I can think of no one I respect more. And finally, from Peter German, co-founder, my experience with Dennis over more than 30 years, 3 decades, has shown what a broad spectrum of community work he has done. He has helped form the Arcata sister city relationship using both his language skills along with his ability to make people connections. He has mentored many young entrepreneurs both within Los Bagels and through his university connections. He's always encouraged those around him to reach across cultural divides, bringing together vegetarians and beef producers, environmentalists and resource developers, while at the same time holding clear positions of integrity for himself. Dennis, thank you. From this Rotary Club, from all of us as members of this Rotary Club, and from the broader Arcata community, thank you for being part of this community, and thank you for being part of the world. We appreciate you sharing your skills and making our world a better place for all of us to live in. Thank you also for practicing your occupation with integrity, for inspiring those who you work with to reach beyond themselves. At this time, I'd like to invite you to please come forward so I can explain the components of the award and make the presentation. In creating this award, our committee decided that we wanted to have 3 different components of it. We wanted an opportunity to celebrate you as a non-Rotarian in your vocation and your service to the community, but we also wanted to think about this celebration providing support and encouragement and education to the next generation of workers. So we have 3 components of the recognition. The first is having you here with us today, celebrating you, making a point to be able to say, hey, Rotary members, check out this amazing member of our community. But also, the second component is to welcome you to a special circle of Rotarians. We will bestow the honor of a Paul Harris Fellow upon you. And the third component is that we will be making 2 financial donations in your name. So for component 1, I present to you this certificate. In celebration of your professional achievement and in respect of your representation of the ideals of our organization in the ways you treat your employees, the greater community, and the world. For component 2, I'll ask Terry Clark to please come forward. She's going to share a little bit about the Rotary Foundation and the Paul Harris Fellowship recognition in particular.
Congratulations. And Dennis is going to be the second Paul Harris Fellow in his family because Trula is the first. Paul Harris was our founder. Rotary has been here since 1905. And in the 40s, there was an endowment called the Rotary Foundation was begun. And actually, it was earlier than that because the Rotary Foundation is celebrating its 100th anniversary. And so in honor of your service to our community and to make you kind of an honorary Rotarian dish, you are a Paul Harris Fellow. Here's some jewelry to indicate that. And the certificate will be here soon.
Thank you.
For the third component, as I mentioned, we will be making 2 donations in your name. The first is, as we recognize and acknowledge the accomplishments you've made in your vocation, we want to pay that forward to the next generation. And to that end, we will be making a $250 donation in your name to the Arcata High College and Career Center. A program that serves young people and in fact serves every student that's at Arcata High making decisions about their future vocations, our next generation of workers and professionals. So that will go off to Arcata High. The second donation is also in your name, but we need your help this time. We want you to tell us what nonprofit entity you would like to be able to have us support, and we will be making a $250 donation to that entity as well in your name. So this concludes the formal award presentation. Ladies and gentlemen of the club, I would like to present to you our newest Vocational Service Award recipient and our newest Paul Harris Fellow, Dennis Rael.
I'm surprised, I'm shocked, and I'm incredibly honored. And when I first heard about this, to me it seemed a little bit ironic that I was nominated from Ian, and he is somebody who I look upon who should be sitting up here in my shoes, because he does so much, and I have so much admiration for him. But then I look around this room here, and so many people that I've had an opportunity to work with, both within Los Bagels, whether it's Charlie, who was one of our general managers, who's still on our board, or then I look at your next president coming up, Dustin, who's somebody that I worked with for Ian's at Los Bagels, so it was great. And then I look at Barbara, who I was able to work with early on and inspire her, hopefully, to go to Nicaragua and get involved with that program and then go to whole different realms in her life. And then other individuals that I've gotten involved with on a variety of other things that have nothing to do with Los Bagels in particular. So it's a real honor, and for both of these, not just the awards, but also the financial donations you're doing. I think what I'd like to go ahead and do is take that $250 and put that toward one of the most latest projects I've been working on a lot with Carol Vandermeer, which is the Humboldt Bay Trail Endowment Fund, which we're getting ready to have our Trail Summit tomorrow. And you know, in a few short months and little than over 3 months, we've been able to raise over $111,000 toward this endowment. So I invite there's a number of people in this room who have already been involved with that, and I invite other people to come to the Trail Summit tomorrow or become involved in this project, because real soon we're going to be able to walk or ride or bike or push your stroller from Arcata to Eureka. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Jessica. Jessica designed this award and got recognized at district conference last year as the first, our club, the first one, and several of the other clubs in our district are modeling programs after that. So thanks to Jessica for putting that together. Now for the sake of time, Michael Boring has volunteered to take his craft talk on a different week, and that way we won't have to rush him. So thank you for that, Michael. And we'll be able to move into Logan's travels. And I don't know if that's what your talk is about, but I know you do a lot of traveling. I put them both together.
So, I want to introduce Logan and Matt Cendejas. I sat down and started writing out a short bio and decided that that would take the whole program because these guys have done so much. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves and kind of tell you a little bit about who they are and what they're working on. So.
Oh yeah. All right. Good morning, everyone. Logan White, as I was introduced, I studied abroad with you guys a few years ago. I'm currently a junior at UC Merced, studying public health and economics. And I'm also a student entrepreneur. I'm here to talk to you a little bit about what I'm doing today.
My name is Matthew Cendejas. I was born and raised in Arcata. I went to Arcata High School, graduated CR with fire science back in 2014. Just graduated HSU with recreation administration and business entrepreneur minor. And I had the inspiration to start a nonprofit 3 years ago, and got a phone call from this lovely gentleman a few months ago saying he has some great ideas on how to network and collaborate with nonprofits. So without further ado, our presentation is updating how we give Humboldt's local nonprofit entrepreneurs. Today we're going to be talking about some growing distrust among donors and nonprofits, otherwise known as NGOs, and some problems faced by small nonprofits, and some solutions for donor distrust, and some problems that nonprofits and NGOs face.
So to start, growing donor distrust, I'll show you some statistics in a second, of NGOs is largely rooted in the fact that donors are not always aware of what their money's doing, where it's going, or the real impact their money has within the community. Often it's a community far away and they're not aware of the impact they have. So if we could go to the next slide. So the data for this is from a study that's been running every year for 17 years. They survey over 35,000 people globally and try to measure how much trust and faith people have in different industries. One of the industries they measure is the nonprofit industry. And 2017 marks an all-time low for how much trust people have globally in nonprofits, where only 53% of people globally trust nonprofits. In 11 countries, NGOs are less trusted than business itself. And this really kind of highlights what we're going to begin to highlight as a problem, as if the people who are supposed to be funding nonprofits to do their job don't trust nonprofits to do their job, this can lead to many problems, especially lack of donations. We'll talk a little bit more about that in the future. The next thing I want to highlight is what I call the donation gap. So annually, individual Americans, not funds, grants, anything else, individual Americans, you guys, donate over $270 billion to nonprofits. That's a lot of money. But half of that money gets swallowed up by the largest 23 NGOs in the nation. And it doesn't end there. You know, number 24 and 25 get a large chunk of change as well. And grassroots organizations, smaller organizations, struggle to garnish the donations they need. They struggle with donor exhaustion and many other problems that Matt's going to highlight in a second.
So some lack of funds that these small NGOs are seeing. Small nonprofits have a more difficult time of receiving funds. And why this is because one of the reasons is frequent donor exhaustion, which I've been able to see for the last 3 years. Being in the small community, running a nonprofit, we have some of the same donors every year to every quarter of the year. And we're at year 3 and seeing, some of them, getting a little exhausted with how much money they want to give us every year before we go to Africa, which I'll tell you about in a second. And building trust between donors and NGOs can be difficult sometimes, but for my nonprofit, I like to be as transparent as possible, do reports after we travel, and let them know exactly where their money is going through pictures and emails. And through lack of grant funding is another big thing also, because I've taken a grant writing class at HSU a year ago. I really wanted to get involved with grant writing, but I still find it super difficult to get them approved and get them fully funded.
So then here's one other, so I have the privilege of speaking to someone high up at CARE, which if you're not familiar, CARE is a nonprofit that generates about $500 million a year. They're one of the largest players in the game. And I was talking a little bit about donor distrust, and I said, so if a donor wants to give to you guys and say, hey, here's my money, I want you to buy medical kits in Ghana, or I want my money to go to refugees in Syria and Greece, how much would they need to give? And he said, before we could even begin to have that conversation, we need a minimum donation of about $30,000. Something that's not feasible for the average donor, to just give $30,000. However, if you're not able to do that, you're not able to entirely know what your money is doing. And this feeds the problem of distrust in the community, amongst NGOs and amongst donors.
One second. Let's go to that slide. So the nonprofit that I started a few years ago, I'm sure the slide will change in a second. There we go. It's called Inspire One. And what we do is we focus on education and village improvement projects in Uganda, Africa. And since then, I've brought in 18 volunteers to Uganda, teaching at a school of orphans, doing village improvement work with multiple different villages, and collaborating with a nonprofit over there who I'm constantly emailing and contacting. And this picture right here is a volunteer holding up a sign that says "Shoes That Grow," which is a bag of amazing shoes that we were able to hand out to all 100 children at this school. Thanks to John Golem and this club. John contacted me last year and said, hey, I hear you go to Uganda every year, would you like to bring 100 shoes? And we brought 3 huge duffel bags through the plane and got all these kids' shoes. And a little side note, some of those kids are walking 20 minutes to an hour and a half one way to school. I saw with my own eyes some infections and pus oozing out of toes, that these shoes are going to help. So, John, thank you.
And this highlights the effectiveness of smaller NGOs. You're able to say, we have these shoes and I know they can serve a great purpose. Are you able to give them to the people who would really benefit most? And Matt's able to say, absolutely, I'd love to. In fact, we need more donations like that. Whereas working with larger entities, you're not able to make such a donation.
And so this school right here is a school that I travel to once a year and bring volunteers. This year, we're leaving on June 21st, and we're bringing along 6 others. In 2015, we launched our first trip to Uganda, and myself and 8 others, all born and raised in Humboldt County. We had a South Fork High graduate, Fortuna High graduate, Arcata and MPA grads. Oldest there was 23. So I created a platform for individuals to exercise volunteer opportunities abroad. And so having a passion for the school, being there the last few years, every year, this school, it will be terminated because the landowner wants to use the buildings as homes to rent out to make money. So we have dedicated our efforts to build a new school and buy land, which is a $20,000 project budgeted by local contractors and city council in the local area. So, after I got contact with Logan, he says, hey, I have some ideas on how to get nonprofits more exposure. Let's work together, and here we are.
So yeah, through my experience studying public health, economics, and then I spent a semester in Botswana studying public health, working in clinics, and working with nonprofits over there. I really started to feel a lot of these problems that Matt faces from donor exhaustion and not being able to reach into a larger donor pool, from not being able to get grant funding, from missing trust in the community. And I said, something's wrong here, this is outdated. Why aren't these nonprofits who are doing great work getting the funding they need to get? So I started brainstorming, trying to figure out how we can best fix this problem. I noticed another large problem is a lot of these small NGOs really still rely on cash donations, check donations, or wire transfers from a governmental agency like USAID. And that's not necessarily how the world at large works anymore. The younger generation, Silicon Valley, where the world's beginning to run, really works off of online transfers or through your phone with Apple Pay, Venmo, PayPal, Android Pay, credit, debit cards. And if I have to give someone $20 in the check and a bill, I'm inconvenienced. I have to go to the bank, to an ATM. It's really difficult. And it sounds crazy, but it's a problem that's happening at large. Sweden's moving its economy away from paper money. It's going to dry up. And if these nonprofits are reliant on paper money, cash contributions, checks, people aren't going to go out of their way to write a check to give away the money. Not that many people care that much. So we needed to update the framework and how these nonprofits get money, receive money, and how they're able to reach out to the world and connect with people everywhere so they can access larger donor pools. Hold on. So this is part of the front page of the website I'm designing, we're still working on, so that nonprofits once they become vetted through a vetting process we have, they're allowed to post projects on the website asking for funds around the world. And I also wanted to give accountability from donors to help fix the problem of trust. So here you see Saving a School in Uganda. This is an example of what Matt's project will look like once we officially launch in the future. And you see there's $1,000 still needed, assuming he needed 20,000. So if we click on the next slide, if a donor clicks, they'll be welcome to a page similar to this. This is edited a little so it can fit on the slide. But here, so you notice donation rewards. So post operators, managers of their own NGOs, are able to offer an incentive to donors for donating over a certain threshold to their project, which helps incentivize donors and engages donors and really what the difference is that they're making. Then you're able to see a biography or a summary about the project and what the nonprofit's hoping to accomplish. Below is a project budget. You can click on and see exactly how funds are allocated. And we're working to change this so that the budget is automatically posted next to the summary, and you can just click on items in the budget and automatically donate and know what you're purchasing as soon as you're buying or as soon as you're making a donation. Then you click to donate here, and you're able to donate through all the platforms I mentioned: PayPal, Venmo, Apple Pay, Android Pay, and all it requires is that the NGO on the other side has a bank account, which most of them do. And donors then are able to communicate about their donation, about how they feel, and about how they feel about the project to hopefully help motivate other donors to give money. So if everything goes well, we'll see this page quite often where a project's successfully financed, and we can save the school in Uganda, the kids can continue their education, they can continue to get meals every day, and we can really use this platform to make the world a better place. So then we started building on the back side of the website a platform where NGO operators, project managers are really able to better organize their posts and their projects and their donation drives so they can have live updates on how much money they've raised. And it's really a tool where they can run all of their fundraising projects very simply. So here you can see, here's the Save the School project. Here's another fictitious project. Well, this one's real, but post isn't. This project is fictitious. It's Cattle for the People of the village he works in, and he can have as many posts as he wants. And through this, is really able to reach the global internet community, get donations quickly, and not have to worry about, are we going to have the funds to operate next year or next month. They can really focus on the impact that he and other operators want to do. We then go a step further to, so this in itself, the donor pool, really takes care of donor exhaustion in a sense by letting you speak to a global community. But then, next slide please. Yeah. We want to foster relationships between these nonprofits. So it's not just one time someone donates to Matt, but they create a relationship with them. So when someone donates, the post operator automatically gets the email of the person who donated by virtue of you having to provide your email when you donate. So it's loaded to the back end, and this is only accessible by the account manager for their specific nonprofit. And this allows them to see how much someone donated, their name, their email, to reach out and say, thank you so much, would you like further contact about what we're doing, or can I get your shipping address to provide you with the reward you receive for donating above a certain threshold, et cetera, et cetera. This allows operators like that to really create a long-lasting relationship with donors and not just rely on the same donors every year in his and their respective local communities. So, some final points to conclude on. Growing donor distrust is rooted in donors not having faith in the system of nonprofits and not knowing where the money goes and not knowing really the impact the money's having.
And then another point is that local NGOs deliver some of the most efficient use of donor dollars to solve problems and better able to communicate with the donors. Here's a great quote from Bill Gates we thought suited for this speech, and I'm going to quickly go to the next slide. Just again, if you want to start.
Yeah, so just to really conclude, today I was hoping I could educate people on some of the problems faced by small nonprofits and in the nonprofit industry at large. But I hope to share with you the work I'm doing on a startup company to fix these problems, to help smaller nonprofits get the funding they need, to help nonprofits better organize and manage their donation drives, and to bring the world together, through globalism and add another feature in which we can all connect and realize we're all human. I'm here for questions afterwards. Feel free to contact me if you want to know more. I think what I'll probably be asked is, yes, we plan to launch next fall. We're planning to add user accounts, a gamification system, and we'll have a mobile app. So thank you.
And like you saw earlier, that school that's 100 orphans. We started a lunch project last summer when we were there. Hired a contractor and a chef and built a kitchen. So now the kids are being fed every single day from our efforts of last summer, which is $500 a month, which we raise through fundraisers and local donators. So if anybody here would like to donate to continue feeding the kids, or talk about how we can work to receive a sizable donation to save the school, please talk to me after this meeting. I'm a Boss Coach Rotary member. I'm the vice president, so I'll be president after July, and I'm going to be in this community forever, so this isn't the last time you'll see me. I'm sure you'll hear more about this in the future, so stay tuned, and thank you for listening.
Presentation, and we will be making a donation to the Wheelchair Foundation.
Love it. Thank you so much.
You bet. Okay, we have some time left, yes? 30 seconds or so, maybe? Steve, would you like to share a little bit about the India project that you have going on?
I would, and maybe we could bring
Have everybody come up.
everybody come up here, and Judy, since she's appropriately dressed in my wife, so we can talk a little bit about what we're doing. So the RFE program is the Rotary Friendship Exchange, and currently our district exchanges with India. It has for 4 or 5 years, and this last spring also exchanged with New Zealand. And so basically we send a team over to their country to sort of meet people, meet Rotarians, see their projects, see their communities, and then they send teams over here. And Patty and I hosted folks from India 2 years ago, I guess it was, maybe, or 3 years ago. And then we had the chance to go to India in January, where we got to meet Mihir and Divangi in Rajkot, which was the first city that we attended. They were amazing hosts. They took us to some just fabulous parts of India, got to see the native Asian lions. It was really cool. I was blown away by India. I mean, I didn't know what to expect. You know, there's the stuff to see on TV. It's this huge country. There's almost 1.3 billion people. It's like, oh, it's going to be overwhelming. And it was overwhelming, but it was fabulous. And the people of India were the finest people I've met anywhere. I just was blown away by their hospitality. People on the street just coming up to us and asking, well, you know, where are you from and how are you? Is there anything I can do to help you? And these are like perfect strangers I'd never met before. It really, really was amazing. So I'm just so happy to have her. And we're wearing some traditional Indian clothing. So the traditional Indian men's shirt, my first host in Rajkot gave this to me. And then in the second city we were in, Jamnagar, we were there on Republic Day, which is a really big deal in India, and they gave me what's called the Gandhi Topi. So it was the traditional hat made of sort of traditional rough cloth that Gandhi was promoting at the time. And it was just really cool. And then we got this sort of traditional embroidered cloth that we see throughout India that we bought, which was really wonderful. We brought another, which is called Cortis, another one there that Judy is wearing. But I want to have Mihir say just a few words about the program and what they've done, and I'm sure he's going to invite you to come visit India.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Mihir. I'm accompanied by Divangi, my wife. Actually, we are here for Rotary Friendship Exchange. You must be very much aware about how the program works, right? Well, let me talk about my experience in USA up till now. Whenever in India we used to see Hollywood movies, we used to see a lot of glittery things and a lot of things that we were expecting to see here actually. But believe me, apart from New York and San Francisco, I cannot see anywhere. But actually we were traveling before RFE as well. We had a road trip from New York to Florida, and it was amazing. And we got to see what true America is and what the true spirit is. But as soon as we set our foot on the West Coast, and our first place we visited was Napa, and then we were traveling over the Northern California, the true soul of America lies here. Believe me. That is from a third person from a third world country is saying this to you. I think California is the best place anybody can be. The best weather you have. World is running from here. Like, we are getting jobs from here actually. In India, IT industry works from here, from California, right? Silicon Valley is giving us jobs there. Moreover, new inventions are coming up from here, not from any part of the world, right? The most, if you go and check, the most patents for the softwares and for the engineering is done from here. So you guys are in the best place. And you are in such a place where you can feel the essence of America. And I really loved it. My first impression was America is very glittery, people are rushing all the time. But when I came here, people are pretty relaxed, people know each other, people are very warm and friendly and caring, which was pretty amazing to me, because it's something you will feel the same when you come to India. So it's like we all are same basically, but divided by cultures and by countries. And now you can see we have converted Steve into a complete So at this point, I request all of you to visit India for RFE or without RFE, if you need any help in India, please come to me. I'll give you my card. We'll be in touch. So I will make sure that you have a very, very pleasant stay in India, and you can explore the most oldest civilization of Earth. We have different cultures. Every state has different languages. We have 68 languages. Even I don't know them all. Believe me, some states have more than 2 or 3 languages. So it's a variety. We have a lot of religions. We are the most secular state you can ever find. We have largest Muslim population. We are all living with harmony. No doubt we have some issues with Pakistan, but that we are still figuring out after 60 years. But everything peacefully. Well, let me tell you, if I have one more minute.
10 seconds.
10 seconds. Well, my state, Gujarat, the basic essence of Gujarat is Gandhi. Gandhi was born here. He studied there in my city, and he had his karma bhumi, that is where he worked. The satyagraha, the moment of truth, was from Gujarat. So when you come to Gujarat, you will feel the culture and the essence of Gandhi. So please come to Gujarat, come to India, and feel the beauty of India.
Thank you for that. We will do our exchange of the flags, where you will actually be able to see the country of India. And that's the state of Gujarat right there. And that little dot there is Rajkot, where he is from. Thank you very much. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you. That was wonderful. Raffle, before we go.
All right.
Come on, Chris.
I've been temporarily promoted to Raffle Master.
All right. Good luck.
Yeah. And so we'll have the newest Paul Harris Fellowship pick first number, which is 6038.
Oh.
Right.
I never get it.
What time is it? And the honor of picking the next one.
All right. This looks like a good one right here. It is 816005. Sorry.
Right, $5.
Thank you all. We'll end with the Logan's Inspire slide. Thank you again for your inspiring talk. Thank you for inspiration about India and a reflection of who we are from you. So I appreciate that. Thanks to all of you for being here. And we are officially